It wasn't a fight or anything obviously triggering. There were no slammed doors, shouting, or the usual dramatic scene. It all began with a small spill on the kitchen table. Then a sharp tone ensued. That was when his son looked up at him. And in that second, he saw something he never wanted to see. Fear, not of a stranger, but of him. And that was the moment everything changed. Because sometimes, you don't realize you're repeating the past until you see it in someone else's eyes. This isn't just a story about a father. It's about the patterns we inherit, the reactions we don't question, and the moment we decide to interrupt them. Stay with me. Have you ever reacted in such a way that didn't feel like you? You knew it was you, but it happened anyway? I want to tell you a story about a moment, that one look, and the second everything changed. David was known as chilled. At work, he handled pressure. In his community, he volunteered. At home, he did his best. From the outside, his life looked solid. But most nights, after everyone went to sleep, he sat up and stared at the wall, as if trying to process the unseen. His father wasn't cruel, just distant. For him, emotions were considered weakness. Tears were seen as shame. In their home, fear was kept in silence. So David learned to hold it in. He performed well at school, got good grades, and never complained or asked for much. Strength soon became his identity, but that strength came with a cost. As a man in his own home, a spilled drink, a late payment, or an unexpected change in plans, all triggered him to react before he could think it through. And even with his efforts to conceal his feelings, it could be heard in the sound of his voice and his facial expression. But this time he caught a glimpse of his own fear in his son's eyes.
It's okay, buddy. Just tell me the truth.
I was scared.
It wasn't a lot, just a look. And in that second, David recognized it. He had worn that same look when he was around his son's age. And suddenly, it wasn't about a mistake someone made. It was about a pattern built over decades. That night, he looked at himself, and for the first time, he didn't see a calm man or what he'd like others to think. He saw his father's expression in him, the same rugged tension, and, at that moment, something inside him awakened. Instead of asking, "Why am I angry?" or "How do I control it?" he asked something else. "What am I protecting?" The answer wasn't control. It was fear. Fear of failing, fear of not being enough, fear of losing respect. Before now, these feelings were unnamed. David didn't have to reinvent himself. He practiced one thing. When stress rose, he inhaled and exhaled slowly. And instead of reacting, based on a feeling, he took the time to identify the reason he felt that way. When he was being honest about taking on too much, he wasn't afraid to say, "I feel overwhelmed." That single sentence changed the atmosphere. The reactions didn't vanish overnight, but they softened. The volume lowered. Because the recovery time shortened, he stopped defending himself, especially when it was uncalled for. He started admitting, "I'm feeling stressed," or "Give me some time and I will get back to you." And his vulnerability to whatever he felt did what self-control never could. It built connection. 6 months later, his son spilled something. David felt the surge, the old script rising, but awareness stepped in. He inhaled. "It's okay," he said calmly. "Let's clean it up." His son smiled. That was the moment, an opportunity to realize he'd changed. It didn't have to be anything huge, but mainly because it was different. You may not have chosen your conditioning or the emotional rules you were handed, but you can choose whether they continue. Patterns will repeat themselves until they're interrupted. And sometimes, all it takes is one look to gain awareness and one breath to pause for a better decision. If you enjoyed this video, what stops you from watching the next one? Thanks for watching.